Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I have Brian Krogol on the line, and he's CFO over at SPFX, known as Standard Premium Finance. And this episode is part of our DealFlow Discovery series, where we bring you the best of those that are attending the DealFlow Discovery Conference, and that's at the Borgata in Atlantic City, New Jersey. The dates are January 28th through 29th, and you can learn more and get tickets at DealFlowDiscoveryConference.com. Again, that's DealFlowDiscoveryConference.com. And Brian's going to be there. The CEO from SPFX is going to be there as well. So check that out and go connect. Brian, welcome to the show. Good to see you.
Thanks, Adam. It's great to be here. We're very excited to participate in the DealFlow conference as well. We'll be there obviously both days, and our presentation is on January 29th, 11 a.m. So we'd love to see everyone watching. We'd love to see you there and meet and connect.
Fantastic. And we'll get into the conference. We'll also get into SPFX as well. But before we do all of that, we'll start this episode the way that we start them all, with what we like to call our Mission Matters Minute. So Brian, at Mission Matters, our aim and our goal is to amplify stories for entrepreneurs, for executives, for experts. That's what we do. Brian, what mission matters to you?
Thanks, Adam. Mission matters to me is building stability that lasts. I recently became a father, and that sharpened this focus for me. You start thinking less about short-term outcomes and more how every decision kind of fits into a larger framework, right? Like, how I'm investing for his future, right? It's not just what daycare or preschool, but setting up a 529 plan and kind of setting him up in a world that we're building up for his success.
It's great.
And with SPFX as well, we build into how does that stability work? And it's supporting our long-term roll-up strategy, our long-term goals, right? Focusing on bringing businesses together in a way that supports continuity for their employees, for their customers, building long-term value for our shareholders as well, and the greater community of stakeholders that rely on us.
Yeah, it's great. Love bringing mission-based individuals on the line to share why they do what they do, how they do it, what we can all learn from it. And congrats on the new addition to the family, by the way. That's awesome.
Oh, no, thank you. Very exciting.
I got another extended member of the Mission Matters family. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he'll be ready for his interview. Maybe give him a couple of years.
That's awesome. All right. Well, I definitely want to get into SPFX, but before we do, I see the title CFO. I mean, how'd you get into the industry? How'd you get into the business?
Sure. Yeah, I came to SPFX a few years ago now. I started as the vice president of accounting. I was integral we were private at the time. I was integral in getting us public. We're actually the only public company in this space. Yeah. A little bit about myself. I grew up here in Miami, Florida. That's where we're headquartered. I went to the University of Florida. Go Gators. Yeah. I gained valuable experience after that. I worked for Grant Thornton doing public company audits, in a wide array of fields. So I kind of got a good breadth of knowledge from that experience. I always hate to share this, but I got to say my mom loves it when I do it. But I was the Elijah Watt Sells Award winner. This is a distinction for performance on the CPA exam. So something like 30 something out of over 100,000 test takers that took it that year that received this honor.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you started out at SPFX and you helped take them public. What was that like? What was that like to transition, especially since it's one of the only companies in the industry that are public? What was that like for you?
Yeah. So we really are the only public company in this space. There are other players like, banks, but it's a small portion of their overall portfolio, right? The business that they do. So we are a focused company here dealing with that. Going public, it was a big learning experience for myself and for the whole team. It's very exciting. It put us in a great position. So, there's on top of all the paperwork and everything, there's a lot of planning that goes into it, right? Building into that long-term planning and getting us to the position that we are today.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about the company overall. So SPFX, what's the focus?
Yeah, SPFX. So we are an insurance premium finance company. It's a sector of the specialty finance industry, right? So it's kind of interesting. I mean, we operate in a space that most people never really even think about or even, know about until they need it, right? And it can make a critical difference for businesses in that moment. And I'll be honest, before I came to SPFX, I had never
Hmm.
even heard of insurance premium finance.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a huge industry. We're talking $60 billion of finance premiums annually, and it's
Mm.
always growing, at estimated like a 10% growth every year.
Yeah. Who are your typical clients? Like, talk about the product.
Yeah. So we partner with pretty much all the key players in the insurance industry, right? So we have agents, brokers, the carriers themselves, and the ultimate customer is the insured party. Without getting into all the nitty gritty, right? It's a
Yeah.
relationship business. It's about maintaining those relationships with the agents and with the customers, to build that solid foundation and relationship.
Yeah. Now, I know that you and also the CEO are going to the DealFlow conference. A lot of people that are going to be in attendance watch this show and are listening to it. Who are you looking to meet and why?
So at the DealFlow conference, I mean, we're excited. This is a great way to kick off 2026, right? We're January, we're hitting the ground running and building into our strategy. A lot of what we're talking about today as well, right? This opportunity we see within our industry. So we want to connect with like-minded investors and institutional investors as well that understand our story and can see the opportunity that lays ahead for us.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I've been a couple years, and it's a great conference. Have you been in the past, or is it the first time
It's
attending?
going to be
Or
the first time for me, but I'm very
yeah,
excited.
newbie, come on.
Yeah, no, we've seen it pop up and we're like, we got to be there this year. So we're very excited.
Yeah. Let's get into some of the future planning and what you're doing for standard premium finance. So talk to me about like growth and what that looks like as you're planning out the strategy going into 2026. What are some of the things on the horizon?
Sure. So looking ahead, it's not just, we have, like I mentioned, we have this opportunity in the industry that's roll up related.
Hmm.
But there is a lot of organic growth within the industry. Insurance premium finance is growing
Yeah.
annually, and we see just on top of that organic growth, we see the value of a roll up as well.
Mm.
I'd like to focus a little more on that, right? Because this industry is very fragmented, right? What we see is over 1,000 small premium finance companies that are just scattered
Mm.
throughout the US, where we are more of a mid-sized player. We're licensed in 41 states. We're growing that licenseship to up to the 50 states, right? And really put us on the national stage to fight,
Mhm.
the bigger fight and get into those bigger premiums and bigger customers.
So it sounds to me like, correct me if I'm off on this. I'm just trying to understand the industry landscape. You have the really, really, really big banks. You have a bunch of small scattered players, so to speak, and then you're kind of in that nice sweet spot in the middle. Am I off on that?
No, yeah, that's exactly how it
Yeah.
works. There's a few big players into the industry, but I think
Mhm.
the opportunity we see is with all those small players,
Yeah.
right? So when I say these 1,000, fragmented companies, I'm talking about portfolios
Hmm.
between 5, 15 million maybe, where standards, growing past 75, 80 million now, we're pushing towards that 100 million point. And when we see this roll up opportunity, right? These big banks, when they see, one of these small players, let's say with a $5 million portfolio,
Yeah.
it doesn't make a dent. It's just a drop in the bucket for them. But
Yeah.
we can actually add a lot of value with the systems that we've created internally, add a lot of value for their company as well as ours, obviously for our shareholders and our community here.
So, Brian, what would you say makes you a little bit different in the marketplace, other than size, of course, other than size?
Yeah. So we are, of course, operating in that mid-sized range, right? Some of those smaller players, they don't have the licensorship to attract customers in throughout the states, right? Where some of the bigger players, they don't have the flexibility that we can offer, right?
Mm.
As a mid-sized company, we kind of operate in that nice middle ground where we have that local presence, but that
Yeah.
national power, which is actually our slogan. We have proprietary technology as well that
Hmm.
helps us build into this, where we are able to be a lot more flexible and a lot more
Mm.
nimble than some of the big players. And that's what allows us to kind of differentiate ourselves. I mean, we have some very long-term relationships.
Hmm.
Our customers, our retention rate is great. Our agents keep
Yeah.
coming back. So I think that's what kind of differentiates us in this marketplace.
Speaking of the customers, like what, from their standpoint, what are some of the real world problems that customers face before they find SPFX?
Sure. So like I said, this is kind of an industry that operates almost behind the scenes, right?
Mm.
Insurance for business owners, it can be different than, say, the car insurance payment that we make each month, right? That's what we're kind of
Yeah.
used to. You make your monthly payment, but business insurance premiums can get quite large, into the tens, even hundreds of thousands, even
Hmm.
millions of dollars for large companies, right? And
Yeah.
in many cases, these premiums are going to be due, in full upfront, right? So think
Hmm.
about the cash flow friction that creates for these businesses, right? You've got this big premium that comes due, and it could be the difference between being able to put a delivery load on a truck, being able to keep your doors open, right? So
Hmm.
what we provide is the ability to pay that premium, right, and give you more
Yeah.
predictable budgeting, removes that cash flow friction for the businesses. At the
Hmm.
end of the day, what we're doing, it's not like we're selling insurance, but what we do is make the insurance workable for these businesses.
It's awesome. I love it. It's a good story. And I'm always an advocate for those that are helping other business owners, grease the wheel of industry, man. Like insurance is
Sure.
important and being able to, like you said, got to load the truck, right?
Right. Yeah. And
What-
it's a real problem. I mean, sometimes,
Yeah.
they're sitting there and they need to make sure that this is, totally ready to go before they can even get their business moving.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, Brian, I mean, this has been great having you on the show today. I learned a lot about, first off, the market overall for premium finance, and then, of course, SPFX. That being said, we're in 2026. I think I'm still allowed to say this. It's January 15th, so it's kind of like still Happy New Year. What's on the horizon? What's next for you? What's next for Standard Premium Finance?
Yeah, it's an exciting year for us. So, like I mentioned, we see this opportunity for the long-term roll-up strategy, right? We're operating in this highly fragmented niche, and we see over 1,000 small premium finance companies scattered throughout the US. And us as the only public company in this space, we see an opportunity that we can offer to those companies and grow our value as well. So these smaller firms, right, they've built these local businesses that have limited long-term exit options, right? In many cases, the owners either just wind down the business, or, maybe their kid doesn't want to take the reins, or maybe
Yeah.
their primary lender might buy their book of business for some small marginal gain. But what we can offer is a compelling alternative here, right? One that provides the owners a better exit option, one that
Mhm.
provides long-term returns, one that provides continuity for their customers and employees, and preserves those business relationships that they've built over their career. Because at the end of the day, right, it is an industry built on relationships. So as the only public company in this space, it gives us that very specific opportunity that others don't get. So I think that's our focus going here into 2026. We see
Mm.
other small benefits. Interest rates have more or less stabilized. The decreasing rate environment that we saw in 2025 and the back end of 2024, it actually was a profitability boon for us. And we might see a little more of that interest rate decreases going into 2026. So that actually works to our favor as well. But the main focus here is that opportunity that we see within the industry.
Perfect. Brian, how do people follow up? How do they learn more?
So I think the next thing to do, definitely if you're going to be at the DealFlow Discovery Conference, set up those one-on-one meetings, come to our presentation January 29th at 11 a.m. And of course, you can find us on the website, standardpremium.com. Follow our ticker symbol, SPFX. And you can find us on LinkedIn, where everywhere you want to be found.
Yeah, fantastic. And for everybody listening, just so you know, we'll definitely put some links in the show notes so you can just click on the links and head right on over. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. Yes, you heard me correct. Daily, each and every day, we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way on your journey as well. So again, hit that subscribe or follow button. And Brian, thanks again for coming on, man. See you at the conference.
Thanks again, Adam.